in I'm trying to actually set this up. This is really frustrating. Okay. I don't know how this is going to work. I have been faffing about with this for far too long. I have been wanting to create something, thinking about creating something, almost creating something, and then overthinking it and not doing it. I've got my coffee, good to go. So, in the spirit of fucking about and finding out, which is, let's be honest, how my whole philosophy seems to exist anyway, I was thinking about it. And what I've discovered is that what I thought was just my philosophy in kind of the running space, the endurance space, the whatever, I was thinking to myself, yeah, the accidental runner, fluffing about, finding out, trying to figure it all out as I go along, diving in to the deep end, and then figuring out that, treading water really doesn't move you in a direction and you've actually got to learn to swim. Um, but as I kind of thought about it, I've kind of taken that approach with pretty much everything I've done. Um, I jumped into like I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I knew what I wanted, what career I wanted, and all of that kind of stuff. But essentially, when it's come to things like trying to step into the next space, trying to do the next big thing in my career or, in my profession or in the path that it takes, I've kind of dove in before I knew whether it was doable or not. Um, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of powerful, right? Because if we wait until we're ready, we're probably never going to do anything. We're going to sit in this comfortable space of mediocrity. Um, and yeah, I might not succeed a lot of the time. Um, I might not succeed. Well, actually, others would potentially think that I succeed less. But my definition of success is possibly different to what other people on the outside are perceiving it as. I don't know why I was overthinking this idea for too long because I was thinking there was some sort of perfection, some sort of thing that had to be ready for, some sort of, I don't know, some sort of way it was meant to look. And as it turns out, it doesn't have to. Um, I figured that I'd been standing on the edge of that cliff for so long that it was about time that I just freaking jumped in and see where it lands and see what happens and see what evolves from it. So, welcome. That was my very long-winded way of welcoming you to whatever this podcast is, whatever this thing is going to be, whatever this is going to look like. Um, yeah. So, episode one, I have hopes and dreams of what I'd like to kind of evolve it, how I'd like to begin the evolution of whatever it's going to be. But I figured for if I waited to plot things out, maybe if I waited to um, invite people in, I needed to show them something that I'd created that maybe they might want to be part of. Fuck around and find out. So here we are. Um, so episode one, I guess it's really just going to come down to I will introduce myself. I will introduce who I am and what, maybe what my hopes are for this and when what it's going to become. So I find in the podcast space, there's so many podcasts. There are so many trail podcasts. There are so many endurance athlete podcasts. There are so many people putting stuff out there and talking to people and talking of huge things and huge achievements and ways forward in the space of trail running and what's next and what records are going to be broken and the top even to middle pack kind of story. As someone who has pretty much been the dead last runner across the line on more than one occasion, um, I guess I want to highlight the the people that are out there doing it that are kind of unseen, maybe, that or feel unseen. Um, we are we all aspire. We all want to be better. We all want to improve. We all have different definitions of what success might look like, but maybe maybe we we need to recognize and highlight this kind of base and I want to say kind of foundation of trail running or any space, adventure space, maybe. People that are out there giving it a go, giving it a red hot crack, that aren't highlighted, aren't seen, that kind of blend into the background. They're one of the masses of the crowd, you know, and we do sometimes highlight that last runner as well, but you know, there's some kind of like different kind of endurance that comes from being out there for the longest time to achieve the same goal that the record breakers are achieving. There's a special kind of resilience and strength and power and drive that comes from the back of the pack. And particularly as a female, I feel like there's so much untapped storytelling amongst that. And I want to tell the stories. I want to tell the stories of the people that are out there working their asses off, you know, because they just so love pushing themselves and stepping into really uncomfortable spaces. There's, you know, there's just so many unhighlighted stories. So that's where I want to come from. That's what I want to tell. And as a photographer in the space as well, so I do get to photograph trail runners, and I find that I'm really drawn to ensuring that particularly those back of the pack runners get a good photo, get a good story, get a good image to, you know, highlight their strength and how hard they work. I think they're a very powerful space to be. God, I'm getting emotional about it. That's the hopes and dreams. So I want to talk to people. I want to have people on the podcast. I want to have people's stories. I want to highlight the whys, the grit, the determination, the strength and the power, and the particularly the women um, in that space. And I say particularly women, not to negate the male space, but that gets a lot of voice. Particularly as a woman, I'm connecting with them. I've got a story to tell alongside all of those. So, look, who knows how this is going to evolve in the process, but let's fuck around and find out. History about me. I used to run a long time ago before like there was just stopwatches, like digital stopwatches and shit. Like I used to run and not have a time. I didn't even know what times I was running when I was first running. Um, I I did play second in my local cross country when I was like 11 or 12. Probably the best I've ever done. And it was probably the fastest I've ever ran, but I'll never know what the time was because it's not recorded. And that was like what? A long time ago. Delete that later. I don't know. How does editing work? I don't even know how to do the editing. Oh my God. Okay, this is going to be so fun. Okay, so anyway, my now husband and I, we used to run, we used to do like 10K fun runs and stuff like that. Um, don't know what my times were. I did the Oxfam Trail Walker. Didn't really realize what an endurance event was at the time. Just was going out for a walk with a bunch of people. Did that. Didn't really understand the power in that at the time. And now that I've run a few 100 kilometer races, I'm like, oh wow, I actually did a pretty huge thing back then. It was pretty powerful. Like I think a lot of stories, it was COVID. COVID lockdowns needed something outlet, some space, some mental clarity. Started walking, started moving faster, started running. And then I made some, like, I started creating a little bit of a, I don't know, put it on the socials to kind of document it because, hey, look at me. I'm out doing this thing that I swore I'd never do. Um, I did used to, back in the day, I would hike and I would rock climb and I would do all the outdoor adventure things, but I never liked, never liked cardio, never liked running. It was like something about it, like I just didn't have the leg strength or whatever it was. I just didn't love it. Maybe it's like the history of asthma, but didn't love it. Didn't really enjoy it. Running with my husband on those some of those 10K little fun runs and stuff was cool. It was like a step in the process. Um, just to keep fit while I was climbing. But during COVID, you know, walking, running further, running meant I could go further in the time allowed. And I discovered that I could actually run. Put some stuff on the socials. My brother said to me, well, if I think I ran like 9K or 10K or something. And he's like, well, if you can run that far, if you can do 10K, why don't you just try and do a half marathon? Now, those that know me will know that that was like a challenge accepted kind of moment. So I'm like, if you're going to put that seed in there, I'm going to run with that. Huh, pun intended. And signed up for my first half marathon. And then did that. So my first half marathon was local. It was a Trails Plus event at Brimbank. And it was handy because it was local. It meant that I could kind of train on it for my own clarity and whatever. I needed to know I could do the distance. So I was able to train on it and I was able to run uh, the 21K and knew that I could do it in the time allowed. I'm pretty sure I was the last person across the line in that one. So, there's a theme. Um, if I wasn't last, I was damn close to last. But God, it was such a cool feeling to, I don't know, do something that I didn't think I could do. So, like any half marathoner, I did I did 21K, and then I'm like, well, if I can do 21K, I can probably do a marathon. So a year later, I went back to the same event and ran a marathon. In that time, I ran another couple of 21Ks and things like that, and then uh, pretty much straight after doing my first marathon, like it was like a 6 hour marathon. Like, yeah, I'm not fast, but hey, I did the distance. And it's on the trails too. So, if it's on the trails, it gets extra kudos. Anyway, did the marathon, signed up straight away for the 50K. 50K was a massive eye opener. I had lots of elevation. And I was like dead last across the line. But I was allowed, thanks to Brett, thanks to Trails Plus, who want to see these back of the pack people like me achieve things that they didn't think they could. And I did. I crossed the finish line. I got a time, I got a medal. The whole world of ultra marathons opened up to me. So naturally, then I signed up for 100K. In the space of like 3 years, I'd gone from pretty much running nothing to signing up for 100K. And the rest is kind of history. I'll sign up to ultra marathons, um, things that scare me, things that overwhelm me, things that I don't quite think maybe I'm ready for, and just kind of see how it works out. Uh, I use a coach. I have a coach, Millie, who is freaking phenomenal. Now, I've used training programs. I've run with her trails. I've run with Kilo Running Club, and all of that has set me up in a way that has enabled me and allowed me to do these things. So it's actually surrounding yourself with enablers, I guess, is what makes us achieve these things. So maybe I'll just be everybody's enabler and tell them that you can do it. So yeah, I've attempted 100 miles a few times, haven't quite knocked that one off, but I've got a feeling I'm planning. I've got a feeling things are going to happen with that in that space. It just might not look quite what I thought it was going to look like to start with. So yeah, so that's me. Uh, what are we? 2026. I've been running like 5, 6 years. 6 years? Freak. When was COVID? 2020? 6 years? Oh. Um. So yeah, I don't even know what the name of this freaking podcast is going to be. Figure that one out. Will we call it the Accidental Podcast? Kind of fitting. Hopefully, having this will allow me to put it out there, and I'll get some guests. I'm going to have some people to talk to. Hopefully, I've got a few people in mind that I'd love to chat with, and highlight and discuss and talk to, and in that same spirit of just freaking diving in, fuck around, find out. Accidental Podcast, episode 1.